How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're bringing you episode number 4 of the SG podcast. If you do enjoy it, please make sure to hit the like button, and please, if you are new around here, make sure to hit that sub button. We're still trying to hit 1,000 subs before the end of the year. I think we're currently on like 706 or 705 at this point. So please make sure to hit that sub if you are new, and also drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought of the podcast. Give me some advice on how it can be better, or if you did enjoy it, let me know what you enjoyed about it. And guys, before you get into the podcast, I do just want to say a massive thank you to Soob for taking time out of his busy day to come and join me on the podcast, and obviously give you guys some help, advice, and tell us his story about how he got into photography and streaming. Guys, enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Ladies and gents, welcome to episode number 4 of the SG podcast. As you can see, today we're joined by none other than, I'm sure I pronounced your name wrong. Is it Soobstance? That's how you pronounce it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. We're joined by Soobstance. Great guest. I think we're all going to be able to sort of take a lot from his journey, his story, and hopefully we can all, keep positive and keep motivated from what we can gain from him. Before we get into the podcast, though, I do very quickly want to say that for those guys that join us live on Twitch, it runs slightly different to my usual stream. So rather than interacting with every question, every message that comes in, there will be a section where I'll allow you guys to get questions in for myself or Soob to discuss. And then obviously I will, as and when followers come in and stuff, as and when we get a sort of a natural break, then I'll be able to go back through those and make sure to thank you all. But don't think I'm being rude or anything like that. I'm very appreciative of every single one of you joining us today. And I will make sure that I do catch up on chat as and when I can. But as I said, before we get into the podcast, we are live on Twitch. It also then goes live onto YouTube on Monday at 6:30 p.m. So getting it all edited and stuff today, and then it'll be ready on YouTube. So if anyone does miss it, you can obviously go back and watch it there. Below the YouTube channel, there'll be all of my links, but there'll also be all of Soob's links as well. So we get your Twitch on there, your YouTube on there, your Twitter. You've got a quite an active TikTok as well, haven't you? So we'll get that on there. Yep. And that's the intro, guys. So welcome, Soob. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How's yourself?
Yeah, not bad. So before the show, we spoke about the kind of how this is going to run. So we'll start off, as we do every week, with the icebreaker. So like I said, you just pick a number between 1 and 3. Behind each number, there is a topic. Now, 2 of those are going to be kind of typical meal deal questions. One of them is slightly different. So basically, if it's one of the meal deal questions, you're just going to have to say whatever it is that's your meal deal or whatever. Yeah. The next one, if it isn't that, and I'll obviously say if it isn't that one, you just got to say the first thing that comes to your mind, and then we can obviously discuss that. So pick your number, 1 to 3.
1.
Oh, okay. So this one I actually come up with today, similar to what a lot of other podcasters do. What is your go-to Domino's pizza? I'm hoping that you do eat pizza, because if you don't, then I can change it up. What's your go-to Domino's pizza?
Well, it's a bit awkward because I don't actually eat Domino's.
Okay, well, go-to pizza. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. What's your go-to?
I'm probably gonna get called out a lot for this, but I'm very boring. I enjoy simple things in life. So a margarita pizza on its own.
You know what?
Classic crust.
That ain't even that bad, man. Like, I think the worst thing you could have possibly said then is ham and pineapple. I think. Oh no, bro. I think like plain cheese is like not that bad. Like, I've had Domino's in the past where the missus has gone like all out, like barbecue Texas. There's bacon, there's chicken, there's all this madness, and usually that's my go-to. But sometimes I'm just like, I want a pizza, but I'm just not feeling all that extra stuff. So I'll be like, you know what? Just get me a cheese and just get me like a straight margarita pizza.
Yeah.
Cheese, tomato.
That's what I tend to do. I just get margarita, and then I'll get like see, I love the garlic Turin from Pizza Hut.
Okay.
I'll get the garlic Turin,
yeah,
chicken strips.
That's the one thing that bothers me. Like, we don't have like a pizza. We used to have a takeaway Pizza Hut place, so you couldn't eat in, but all it did was like just takeaways.
Right, yeah.
But he didn't do very well because it was basically positioned right next to like a KFC. So obviously everyone would just go into KFC or take away from KFC, and this Pizza Hut would just sit on the corner with no custom. So yeah, not great, man, not great. But let's move on then. So obviously you got 10.6K on YouTube. This was as of today, by the way, so I did just check all these. 1.1 1,150 followers on Twitch. And also you are the G Fuel and Game on Juice photographer. So what came first for you? Was it streaming and content creation, or was it photography?
It was a content creation for sure. I've always been a creative person, so I've always wanted to create. So before I was old enough to know what like YouTube was and stuff like that, I'd be doing like drawings or something like that, or creating something. And then I sort of got into like the whole YouTube scene, a massive inspiration for me. And I think a lot of probably UK based content creators was Syndicate. So when he was like popping off just before he went full time, he was the guy that I sort of looked at a lot and was like wow, like look at his comments, like people are actually engaging with stuff like that. So I went with content creation, but as probably most people started out back then, it was a lot of like iPhone on the chair shit, keeping dead quiet, recording your theater mode or something like that, and then getting it into some sort of post editing software and then doing like a voiceover after it. So yeah, content creation came first.
Okay, cool. And I did have another question off the back of that as well. So content creation came first. When did your photography stuff come around? And was it like, did you just sort of see photography as, you know, did you start off like on your phone and just taking photos and think, you know what, I enjoy this? And was it always sort of, I know you do a lot of stuff now around like I said, G Fuel and Game on G, so a lot of stuff around esports and gaming. But did you do like other stuff? Like, I know, you know, I'm going to use the stereotypical example, but you know, like weddings or holiday photos, or was it always esports and gaming?
Honestly, mate, I could not think of anything worse to be photographer, like being a photographer for a wedding. That is so much pressure, mate. That's like that's someone's big day, you know what I'm saying? And if you mess that up or anything,
you're done for.
I could not deal with that. So I could never do a wedding. I'm always getting pushed to do like weddings, like by my family and stuff like that. When you see my photos of like portraits and stuff like that, like, oh, do weddings, you'd make a killing. And I'm just like, nah, the pressure is just too much for me.
It is mad.
But the whole photography thing came about when, so I've always been like probably my worst critic. So like I'd always look at my content and think that it's got to be better. It's got to be better. And something for me was always like my camera quality. I was like, you know, you see all these YouTubers and stuff like that who've got like DSLR cameras. So I was like, right, I want one. So I got like a 700D. I can't remember the year of this, but someone in the chat could probably tell me. But I got a DSLR, so a 700D, very basic, like kit lens. And I think over time I got a 50mm. And this was the time where I think this was, I don't know if it was before or during my time during the organization that I was in with Team Descend. I don't know if you know them, but that was like period in my life where like I met probably like my lifelong friends, people that are going to be like at my wedding and stuff like that. And this guy joined called Ty Tree, and I knew nothing about him. But when like I got talking to him and saw his work and stuff like that, and saw like his photography, I was absolutely mind blown. I was like, "What? That is incredible!" So obviously, like, you know, got in talking to him and stuff like that. And he was like, "Oh, do this, get this, get that," and that's where it all sort of came from and stuff like that. And then when Team Descend at the time as well, one of the only amateur organizations to have G Fuel as a sponsorship. When we got the care package come through, it was like, right, we need to make content on there. Me, obviously, Ty would make content with his photography, which was amazing. When I got my camera, I was like, I want to take some photos of this. So, I mean, I was doing this beforehand, but it really kicked off during that phase. You know, going out into like the woods or something like that with care package that we got given, which was I think it was blue ice at the time. Obviously, Team Descend was like a blue color theme, so we got blue ice and a blue shaker cup. So it was just taking pictures at like setups and just like abstract places. And that's where like it was born, really, to be honest with you.
Okay. I like that. I think with photography, I think it's one of them things where like, I got a camera because I like years ago, and I was, I don't know what the right word is, but basically like I was like, oh, it's gonna be dead easy this, you know, like you just sort of vape over your keyboard, take some shots and that, like, oh yeah, that'll look amazing, and then like you do it, and then afterwards you're like, yeah, that doesn't look anything like I imagined that was gonna look. And I think the one thing that like people like yourself and photographers, you know, deserve credit for is the extra lengths you go to make sure that like that photo or that set is perfect for whatever it is that you're trying to capture.
This is the thing with me. Like I said earlier, like I'm probably like my biggest critic. So like
Yeah,
I look at my stuff and I think it could be better. And then
yeah.
like I have people all the time telling me like that's amazing, stuff like that. And I'm like, it's not, like there could be this there and this
Yeah,
could be
yeah.
better. And I think it's just because I can pick up on that stuff. So
I think
it's
I
just me
think you
being
have
like,
to, don't you? With both photography and streaming. Like for me with my YouTube videos and when I go live, like I'll always watch them back afterwards, and I'll be like, oh, you know, why did I say that, or why was, you know? And then even like little things like with streaming,
yeah,
it'll be the audio levels. So I'll be like, oh, I'm far too loud here, or you can't hear the Discord chat, or the music's too quiet, and it's little things, but you have to be able to do that. Otherwise you'll never grow, you'll never get better, and you
yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly. And like I said, so being in Team Descent at the time and
yeah.
seeing the likes of even one of my best friends, Hovey,
Mm.
he he got a camera and stuff like that, and when he was taking photos, I was just like, that's like real, like why can't I take photos like that?
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
like
yeah.
I decided to like get fully invested and be like, right, I want to get some lighting, I want to get like some nice props and other things like that. Basically just stealing other people's ideas from
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah.
photography.
Yeah.
And that's where it was sort of born. And the probably the most important thing for me, which was the equipment for photography, was getting a full frame camera,
Yeah.
getting a light for one to light my products professionally.
Yeah.
And that's where it sort of like it just opened up as soon as I got like my new camera, my 6D Mark II.
Yeah.
That's where like my photography just, I think like now it's at a level where I'm like taking good photos, not great photos, but good photos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, obviously, like we said, you started off then with the photography stuff. Then you obviously, when did your sort of streaming, when did you sort of, I always word this question really badly, but basically, what was it that you then thought, was it the syndicate thing where you thought, right, look at the interaction and stuff with him, I want to be doing that, I want that interaction? Is that what sort of
Yeah.
inspired you to start streaming?
Yeah, it was weird. I was just like I had this obsession at the time with zombies. I was a massive zombie player, so like I always wanted to do like the Easter eggs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And obviously Syndicate was like the main person at the time for that stuff.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was just like look at his like people like in his comments, you know, commenting stuff, and
Yeah,
he's got
yeah.
like hundreds and hundreds of comments, hundreds and thousands of likes and stuff like that. So I was like, I want to do it. So I think at the time when it really sort of kicked in that I wanted to do stuff, it was like it was not Modern War- it was World at War was the game that had the zombies in at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
But I think it was, I'm not too sure. I'll have to do some background on this, but the game where I really started my content journey was Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
I think that was 2009.
Wow, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then Black Ops came out, and obviously more zombies content and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Was able to do some stuff there. Obviously, at the time, it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was very basic stuff.
Yeah,
iPhone on
yeah.
share,
Yeah.
uh, post commentary in like iMovie with an Apple headset like next to my mouth and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. And then it really kicked off when I think it was 2013, 14 with GTA 5 came out.
Yeah.
So I actually had an older channel, which got deleted due to copyright.
Oh,
At the
mad.
time, I was like mega young, so like I wasn't really, I was just making the content for the fun of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Didn't really
yeah.
care, but like the music that I was using wasn't like mainstream music. It was proper like YouTube music, but
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah. I know what you
understand like
mean.
copyright at the time. So
Yeah.
I was making like GTA videos that was how to like get the most money in GTA, money
Yeah, yeah.
glitches, because I knew as soon as it came out, because this was like when it first came out and the hype around it was like unreal.
Yeah.
People were really excited for it. So I was like, people were gonna want money. So I was on like forums trying to see, you know, the latest glitches for like getting the
Yeah.
most money. And we just basically make that in a video format, and my YouTube channel took off. I was getting like hundreds of thousands of views. It was insane. Not many people convert into a sub because, like I said, the video quality was very below par. It was very amateur.
Yeah.
And then I think at the back end of 2014, 2013, I invested in I think it was a POG HC PVR, is it?
A POG, yeah, HC PVR, yeah.
I think so. I think it was this time period. So I got one of them, and then obviously it all sort of escalated a little bit.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few years, I ended up getting an Elgato and iMac and all this stuff to edit on, and I think it was the 2016, 2017, 18. I think it was Black Ops 15 to 17, Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4.
Yeah.
In between that time period, I got myself an iMac, and then I got myself a MacBook as well for being like on the go.
On the go, yeah.
So like whenever we went to like events, like Solmy and stuff like that, I could do vlogs and stuff like that. And the main usage really was I was on like a schedule where I'd post every single day. So it was literally go to work, come home, create a video or get footage for a video, do the audio and everything like that. Once I got that, depending on what type of video it was, the longer the trying to get the gameplay would be. And I'd be up to like 3 a.m. like editing stuff because I was such a quality freak. And as you can see by my content now, I'm a bit of a freak for quality. So I was up to like 3 a.m. Sometimes I wouldn't even get it done. And then I'd get up at 7, go to the train station, get on the train. If it was empty-ish, I could get a seat and then open my laptop up, start doing a thumbnail, get to work. Anywhere in between that I could do anything on my content, I would. On the train home, do more editing, get home, and then rinse and repeat. So that cycle sort of happened through that whole period of time. And then I think it was actually 2017, I took a break from it. And Black Ops 4 was like the return sort of thing. So 2018 was the return. My YouTube channel was dead. Don't get many views on there. So I was like, you know what? I really want to get into streaming because you're doing a lot of the work there and then during the stream.
Yeah.
And then you can just take it from that and then chop it up and whatever, put it out on YouTube. I didn't do that at the time. I just streamed. I got a couple, people from my community on YouTube coming over to the streams. But the stream started really in Black Ops 4, not Warzone, Blackout. And then just from then, it's sort of grown. It wasn't so much a serious thing for me back then.
Okay.
But I'd say about 7 months ago. So a good 7-8 months ago, I decided, right, I want to really, really knuckle down with streaming and do this serious because I really enjoy it. The streams are doing good, and I want to try and expand this. So this is where I'm at today, basically.
Okay, no, that's a good journey, man. You kind of started off based on what you've just said. I reckon me and you were. I'm not obviously going to ask your age or none of that, but I reckon we are around the same age because I started off making content around the Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 time period. And like you said, it was very much, I was lucky enough to have a laptop that had a webcam, and I started off with an Easy Cap, which was like my first capture card.
Yeah,
so that I know a couple of people in the chat were just saying that the Easy Cap was dope and all that sort of stuff. But I started off with an Easy Cap. And like you said, I would look at, Syndicate, Night Shot, other Call of Duty content creators at the time. And I'd look at their content, their quality, and I'd be like, right, I want to get that. How do I get that? And then I bought this Easy Cap thinking, that'll do it. And it was just nowhere near what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I spoke about my story last week. I took a break for about 7 years through. When I started making content, people at school were like, "Oh, you're such a nerd. Oh, you're such a virgin. Oh, you don't go out. Oh, yeah." All these things, which now you get called, and you just think, whatever. Like, because more people these days see why we're doing it. They see that enjoyment from the community. They see, the help and support you get. Whereas back then it wasn't as easy to sort of, you didn't really get that support off your mates or at least people around you. Whereas
I
now,
was like that when in my time, like I had literally, and I think that just affected like how I am today. I'm not very sociable.
Yeah.
Only I'm confident behind the camera and stuff like that. But if I go out in like an environment, like a party or something like that, I'm
Mm.
the most awkward person in the world.
Yeah.
So I do think like doing what I'd done back then when I was in school and stuff did affect my like
Yeah.
my social skills. I had like one friend who was into YouTube, and
Yeah.
he was the actual person who got me into doing YouTube because back in the day he used to do, you'll probably remember these, like speed arts of like doing
Oh,
YouTube
okay.
backgrounds and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah,
Back
yeah.
when YouTube layout was proper old school, it was literally like the whole background of the page you could edit.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like that was like when I really started, because I saw him making YouTube videos, like, "That's dope, I wanna do that."
Yeah, yeah.
And today I actually do I'm a UI/UX web designer, so
Okay.
spend most of my time on, like, Photoshop, and other creative softwares like that. So that's basically what I do today. So because of him getting me into YouTube and stuff
Yeah.
like that, for doing speed arts, that's probably, like, set me up to, like, where I am today doing full-time graphic design, basically.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Well, that was going to be my next question because I know you touched on saying that back when you kind of started out, you had a job and you go to work and stuff. Do you now do your sort of photography, your graphic design, and then streaming? You know, all three as a kind of, is that what you do as your full time focus if you want?
I wish.
You
I
do,
wish it
yeah.
was.
Okay.
No, I actually do. Like I said, I'm a UI/UX designer for a
Okay.
Shopify agency. So
Okay.
we work with like a lot of clothing brands who, want to redesign, freshen up their website and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my job is to basically make this look pretty.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what I do full time. I've done it full time since it was my first time job was working for my uncle's friend,
Okay.
and it was so toxic. It was so toxic. That's
Yeah.
the time where like I'd be getting on the train,
Yeah.
editing, coming home, editing. That's like that time period. It was so toxic, ruining my mindset and everything.
Wow.
And that's probably why I am like how I am today,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it was so toxic. And then I got out of that job, and I'm in like a such better job now.
Yeah. Yeah.
During lockdown and stuff, we can work from home. So
Mm-hmm.
when it's sort of, hopefully no one from my work's watching, but when it's a bit quieter, I might come away from my laptop, keep it up,
Yeah.
but take a few photos or do a TikTok or something like that.
Yeah.
Something to help benefit my content creation. But
Yeah.
literally any free time I have, it is spent on how can I improve my content?
Yeah.
How can I improve, like, there's that video that goes around from Hex, which is, esports is a 24/7 job. You
Oh
can't take
yeah.
holidays off or anything like that. If you
Uh,
want to make it, you've got to work around the clock. So any time that I have free, unless it's like being planned, I will be trying to improve my content, improve my streams, improve my photography, looking at anything that I can do to make my
yeah.
content more enjoyable for my community and my viewers. So literally any free time I have is spent on that. And then in the meantime, between 9 to 5, I am a graphic designer basically. So
Okay. That's quite
obviously
cool.
the goal is to do that full time, but
Yeah. Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
time being, it's just a hobby for me at the moment.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Um, I'm gonna. I've kind of already asked the first one. I usually ask you kind of like, why did you get into streaming? But you kind of already covered that one. So the first question that I'm going to ask is, what for you is the best part about streaming?
The
So for
best part about streaming, hands down, has to be, and this like we touched on this a little bit about like during like your school years, people calling you and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah,
For me, in my school years, I never had many friends. Like I said, I had that one friend who done YouTube and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that, and he was like my only friend. I had a few mates and stuff like that who I came up from primary school with into high school, but I think because I never had many IRL friends, having the
yeah,
connection with the chat and the community, people stopping by and just creating that bond and that friendship between your community, the people who support you, with every piece of content you put out, every stream, that for me is like a magical feeling because you're
yeah,
not it's like it's not a fan base for me, it's a family that you're making.
yeah, yeah,
So
100%,
you've got
yeah,
to, I want, like, when my chat goes up, I want to be able to talk to people as like a friend. So like when
yeah,
someone comes into my chat, I can be like that. Oh, how did you do on your test? I know that like last
yeah,
time I saw
yeah,
you, you had this test, or how was your driving test? How was your school exam? Or how's the photography going? Or whatever. So definitely the best part about streaming is that bond between you and your community.
I like that. That's one of the things I think me and Smith touched on last week, was that for him was a very similar answer. For me as well, it's exactly the same. I might not have necessarily a community that's as big as yours, but even that kind of almost makes it better when you've only got those 5, 6, 7, 8 people that come by. You kind of know what's happening with every single one of those people. So when they do drop by, like you just said, you can be like, your dog went to the vets the other day. How is it? Like, how are you? How's the family? Like, so that I like that answer, because it's very much like you're building that community. And the one thing that I think me and you do it the right way. Like, okay, not now when I'm doing the podcast and stuff, I'm not reading out every message, but I think that's important for a lot of streamers to be successful these days, unless you are like, Pomage or Sprat, someone who's like got they're very good at their own niche, with it being sniping. For everyone else that's a streamer, if you're not absolutely incredible at the game you play, you need to make sure that you're interacting and building, those friendships.
Yeah, because I get this like all the time on my streams and stuff like that, because like I've literally played games like this whole journey through content creating. Like I've grinded every card pretty much, other than that period between GTA 5 coming out. And I've always wanted to be one of them people who like are really good at a game.
Yeah.
And like people just watch, and it's just like they're just watching the gameplay.
Yeah.
But like I find them people who do that, it's very hard, because I feel like if them people who, so I'm not trying to like name drop anyone, but
I'm about to name drop someone. I dropped him last week, but
oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
carry on.
Imagine a content creator that's really, really good at like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Gets nukes all the times, get like, Warzone dubs all the time, but they have got the personality of a wet flannel. It's like, you've got, like, how have they got so many viewers? Just because obviously they're good at the game and they're winning tourneys and stuff like that. But I'm like, there's just nothing there. There's no facial expressions. There's no like, there's like nothing living inside them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just if you can mix that personality with your gameplay, your community would boom so hard.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I've never been that person who's good at games.
Yeah.
So I always try and let my personality be like the center of attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, people to gravitate towards me and my personality more than my mediocre gameplay that they watch.
Yeah, I was straight up gonna name drop, and like I said last week in the show, it's the same person. So anyone that has tuned in this week, you'll already know who he is. And I'm not name dropping him in the sense that I want to throw shade on his name, and I'm not calling him bad content creator or any of that. It's purely because, I mean, he probably will never ever see these podcasts, but it's Wars. So obviously everyone knows him as Vicstar's partner. Won multiple Warzone Wednesday tournaments. I think he's like the 4th highest earning Warzone player this year, and he's earned a dumb amount of money. But if any of you guys have ever watched his stream, he'll get fair enough for someone his size. Followers come in at a ridiculous speed, so trying to read through all of them, it's going to be very difficult. But he doesn't even read through like subs. He doesn't read out donations. He doesn't. And for me, you have to do that, because the only reason, okay, maybe not because he's winning all this money through tournaments, but the only kind of reason that he's sat there able to play Warzone for as long as he does and practice for as long as he does and stay up till 5 o'clock with a US tournament is because of those people that are supporting his content financially.
He wouldn't be where he was today if it wasn't for that.
Yeah. That base. And for me, like, he's like you just touched on, he's a fantastic gamer. He's obviously very good at Warzone and at Call of Duty. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the earnings that he's got. But, he never lets his personality come out through his stream, because he doesn't interact with his chat. And part of me feels like that's because he's obviously been very close to Vicstar this year with all the Warzone stuff. And if you've ever watched Vicstar's streams, he does basically the same. You know, his chat's popping off. He's got subscribers coming in. He's got, you know, I think it's members, isn't it, on YouTube where they pay a subscription fee. He's got new members coming in all the time and donations, and he doesn't react to them. He doesn't read them out. And the part of me feels like it's because War's kind of been mentored by Vicstar to that extent. But
I can't comment on them really because I don't watch them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not a person who watches people's streams quite often, because as soon as I stop streaming, I'm doing stuff for myself, my content, during when I'm working.
Yeah.
I'll watch, like, you know, some of my community streams if they're live. But in terms of like that type of streamer, I just feel like, how can you, obviously if you're in a high intense situation during a game, fair enough, turn alerts and everything off, all sounds, you know, you're focused, you're zoned in. But as soon as you're out of that environment, you're in a nice comfy environment with your stream and just yourself, you've got to say massive, you've got to give a massive shout out to them people who are dropping you know, a sub, a gifted sub, or a donor, or bits, or anything, because they don't have to do that. They don't have to do anything. They could, it's free content at the end of the day. They can just watch you. But for you not to even acknowledge them is just beyond a joke. I just find that so disrespectful to like people who spend all week grafting and earning the bread and stuff like that, and then they give you a piece, and you're just like, I don't like, not even looking at them. You know what I'm saying? It's so disrespectful. I just couldn't do it.
It really gripes me, man. Like, there's obviously not just Wars that does that, so, you know, no more shade towards him, but it gripes me that there's, you know, people with a fan base like Wars, or with, you know, that he's sitting with like an average of like 1,000 viewers on some when he's playing Warzone, and I just think, you know, if me or you was to have that kind of base to start off with, like you just said, you know, with the way that we interact with chat, with the way that we would use that potential, you know, we could be potentially pulling, you know, big, massive numbers, but he's kind of just where he is, and he's not going to go on and grow anymore unless he wins more tournaments.
Yeah, I do think like it's very difficult to grow a stream or any type of content based off personality, because it's, you know, if you're at like a party or something, you get introduced to someone, you can instantly go, "You're not my cup of tea. You're a bit." You know what I'm saying?
Sus.
And like, it's the same with streams. Like, you can go into someone's streams and you can be like, "All right, there's, you know, good music, a little bit of a vibe, decent gameplay," and then they open the mouth and you're like,
"Oh dear,
get off."
See ya.
It's like no disrespect to them. It's just like, you're not my type of person. But then you find them people who like are on your same wavelength. And then for the people who do interacting, you know, drop the follow or something like that, it's really appreciated. But like I say, back to it, if you're in that situation, you've got to acknowledge them people who support you.
100%. Right, on that note, I'm going to take a quick break to very quickly thank all the new followers. So Jess, Aman, Caitlin, This Is Hovey, Toy Tree. We just mentioned him actually, didn't we?
Oh god, the side tree. I've not got chat open, I've got my notes open.
No, it's all good. A Bit Backwards, Magikarp, Trackstar, The Kaboom, and It's Oxley. Thank you all so much for the follows. Appreciate you all being around. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Birdie coming in with a follow. Appreciate it. Right, guys, we're not quite ready for your guys' messages yet, but if you have got any questions for myself or Soob, or any topics for us to discuss, then please get them in the chat now. Taco Plays, thank you so much for the follow. So we've discussed then, you know, what's the best part about streaming. We obviously then kind of on a topic and went off a little bit to talk about, you know, what bigger streamers don't do that we kind of do well. Our next question, which a lot of people don't prepare for, is what's the worst thing for you about streaming?
The worst thing about streaming. This is probably, you know what? It's probably not even like a bad thing, but the worst thing about streaming for me is it's so addictive. Like, I'll be like, right, I've got work tomorrow. I've got to get off early for a good, like, you know, like and a nice early night.
Yeah.
And you just keep going, and it's like before you know it's 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, God damn it, like I was
Yeah.
supposed to be in bed like 2 hours ago. And like, but you just again like the interaction with the community in the chat, you just the vibes there, and you just don't want to get off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like the worst thing for me about streaming, because once I'm live and everyone's in the chat and everyone's a vibe, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to just take yourself away from that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get that. There was a night, I think last week. If anyone was in stream now was there, I very rarely do I like stream zombies. Like zombies is that kind of content that I just chill with the mates, have a chat, and because it takes forever to get through, and sometimes people want that fast paced content which you just don't really get through zombies. But we streaming zombies. We started frigging playing this game of zombies at like 11, and I said to my mates, I was like, look, we're gonna play till midnight, and we're gonna exfil at midnight, and that's it. That's me done. And like 3 o'clock in the morning, we're on like round 40 or something, and I'm there like, oh my god, boys, I've got to be up at 6. Like I'm done here. I've got like 3. Even if I go to bed now, I'm not gonna get 3 hours sleep before I have to get up.
Yeah.
But like you said, when you're vibing with the chat, when you're having a good time on stream, when the vibes are good, sometimes that doesn't come all the time. That doesn't come every stream.
Man, it doesn't.
So sometimes you don't want to just, sometimes you have to kind of put the dream first over your job, which I know sounds a bit wrong, but sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah, it's this. It's what you do it for. It's what I do it for. Like we mentioned, like other people do it for other things, but the interaction with the chat is like massive, and like you said, it doesn't come around often. And when chat's like full flowing, it's vibing, the game's going well, and you're just enjoying yourself. You just sort of lose track of that time, and it doesn't come around often. You've got to take the rough with the smooth. Some streams are going to do worse than others, but that's why you stay on for longer, because when you're at that peak, you're at the top of that mountain, and everyone's in there with you, and it's a vibe. It's hard to let that go.
Yeah. Okay. Right. The only question we've had so far from the chat is, I'm pretty sure it's from your girlfriend, but she's put, is Jess the favourite girlfriend, and why?
Hands down. Hands down. She's like my favourite girlfriend. Hands down. Not even a question. Like, it's hard. Like, honestly, like people think you're just going to say it because it's your girlfriend. But honestly, I've never met a woman who is so supportive of someone, and not just me, but like her friends as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if she's real good friends with someone, she'll support them to like the whole. She'll push them all the way. You know what I'm saying? She does that for me on a regular basis, and how she manages to keep up with me and deal with my attitude and my mood swings is beyond me. So I've got to give a shout out to Jess for that.
I think that is a big thing. I think for what we both do, we're streaming, and I mean you do all the photography as well, but I think it's important to have some of my mates who are trying to be competitive COD players. Their missus don't support them having to spend 6 hours a night, and it's like that's their dream. And I get that that's a lot of time that they can't now spend with the girlfriend, but if that's what they want to do, that your girlfriend has to support your dreams. If she doesn't, you have to question if it's the right person. Do you know what I mean? I know that sounds horrid,
she's always in chat and stuff like that, you know what I mean? She's always in chat.
Yeah, always, yeah.
And that's like the most support you can get. If I say this all the time when I'm live and stuff like that, like everything's always appreciated, but it's never expected.
Yeah.
The most support that you can give me is just being in chat. If it's a lurk, that's appreciated. But if you're like, being active and keeping the conversation going, which she does a lot. I say this all the time. I would not be where I am today in both my content creation and my photography if it wasn't for having a girlfriend who keeps me grounded and keeps me on that straight and narrow and doing what I love and not getting distracted or not getting disheartened, and just keeps pushing me. So having that supportive partner is massive when you want to do something that's content based, I think. And even just with any dream in general, having a partner who's very supportive, that is a must have.
100%. Okay. Next question. I am sorry guys if I've missed any questions here. I've been trying to keep up with them. I think the next question is from New J Dino. So he's one of my OGs. Do you lose motivation when there's no one in the chat, or when you're having a quieter day?
Yes and no. Yes and no. So when chat goes dead, I'm a bit like, hello, is there anyone there?
Yeah,
like, I know there's people there. Is anyone there?
Yeah.
But like, I'd suggest as well, probably turning off your view account. So like in your dashboard, don't look at your viewers. Like you need to, even if you've got 0 viewers and you're just starting out, you need to pretend that, you know, you're like, excuse me, you're streaming to like 50 people.
Yeah.
You've got to keep talking. You can't shut up. You've got to literally imagine being in your own streams as someone else. Would you watch that stream?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not asking the chat stuff or anything like that, keeping it engaged, then I think people will probably be like, all right, I'm just going to go and do something else. But like, if you can distract them and keep them, you know, talking and stuff like that, keep it a vibe, keep people there and wanting to be there, then chat shouldn't go dead, or very rarely go dead.
Yeah. Okay. Trackstar coming in with a question. He said, how did you find streaming first starting out?
I think probably like everyone, it was a bit up and down. It was a bit hilly. You know what I'm saying? You get to like one milestone and then you go to the next stream and it's like no one's there.
Yeah.
But that's just like how it is, unfortunately, at the start. You know, people aren't always going to be available and people aren't always going to be there. But I think when you start streaming, if you've got a good group of friends, and I'm talking about a good group of friends who will support you by just opening a tab and just being there, that gets you up the list in discoverability on Twitch. So like when starting, I'd highly recommend just like, even if it's yourself, get your laptop open and tab yourself on a laptop. Like just something, because that it's stupid, because with Twitch being so terrible for discoverability, you could literally go live and no one could come in that stream.
You
know what I'm saying, unless you've got that fan base or that follower support where they get the notification and they'll come by. You know what I'm saying? So if you have an account that's got 0 followers on Twitch and you press go live, you're gonna get no one. And it's gonna be hard for people to discover you on the discover page or the explore page. So the best thing I'd say is to try and grow on a different platform and then
bring the
redirect that audience to your Twitch.
Yeah.
So then you can get, like, a lot of big streamers say you grow more when you're not live. So by creating that content on other platforms, you redirect them to your Twitch. So then when you do go live, they get the notification, they can stop by, and you know, it's a snowball effect from there. Really, it's really, really difficult. It is really difficult.
Yeah.
I just say don't give up. Don't be disheartened. The start is always the hardest. So just persevere with it. Keep going. Keep motivated. Remember why you started. You know, there'll be a day where like people are in there before the notification goes out.
You
know, you'll remember that time when you first started and you had no one, and you'll feel really blessed for it. So just don't give up.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that was we kind of discussed that last week with Smith, and that was one of the things that he said, and one of the things that I've done since pretty much the start of the year, back when I used to host the COD pod, we had Stallion on, and one of the things that he said was to turn off your view account, and ever since I've done that, I feel like my streams have been a lot better, because like you said, rather than me looking and waiting for that person to be in the chat, I'm now just actively like talking and asking the chat questions, and if there's one person there, if there's 10 people there, I'm interacting with all of them at the same time. They're all involved. They're all now chatting between themselves in the chat, and that's, I think when you see that happen, when you realise that you're now going from talking to that one person or sitting on your own in silence to now having, you know, your chat amongst themselves, you kind of have, that's when you go, you know, that's when you kind of realise that you've grown now, that you've hit that successful period. It's Oxy asked a question there, which I think it's a quite a long one, but it's a good question off the same vein of questions that we just answered. It says, for smaller streamers, Many streams can be discouraging if the chat is quiet or you don't have many views. What smaller goals would you recommend for smaller content creators to aim for to keep their spirits up?
Yeah, pretty much more of the same of what we've been talking about, really.
Yeah,
So, got to celebrate, and I try and preach this as much as I can, and I try and do it as much as I can, because obviously you've got to practice what you preach, but
yeah,
just celebrate the small goals. You know what I'm saying? Like, celebrate the tiniest little goals that you have. You know what I'm saying? Don't focus on the big picture of, I wanna be a full-time streamer or something like that.
yeah,
Just focus on the small things. Like, so if your average viewer count goes up, like on your stream summary,
yeah,
that's a small goal. You know what I'm saying? That's one step
yeah,
closer. And success isn't a straight line. It's going to be all over the place. So you'll have quiet streams. I've had quiet streams in the past and I've been really disheartened by them. But I always try to like overcome that and think, yeah, but think of all the amazing streams that you've had. You know what I'm saying? All
yeah,
the new people that have joined. But like focus on the small things. But like I said, for small streamers, I really I would really suggest probably cutting down the amount of time that you stream. So don't be doing like 24-hour streams if you've got
yeah,
like, 500 followers or less or something like that, because or even more, because it's pretty pointless, because if you've not got that community, that interactive audience that like, will be there and will come by for that 24-hour period, cut it down to like a few hours and then try and cut that stream up into content that you can post on other platforms.
yeah,
That's what I suggest, is definitely just try and grow on different platforms. So cut your hours down for streaming
yeah,
and put the time that, say if you were going to go for like an 8-hour stream, cut it down to like 4 hours. Spend the rest of that time finding clips or editing clips to be better, like, optimized for TikTok or YouTube or something like that.
mm,
I'd definitely suggest that, because again, the discoverability on Twitch is terrible. You're not going to grow really on terrible unless you're
yeah,
already sort of established, and then Twitch can be like, right, we're going to put this dude and this dude's recommended. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
because I get a lot of people coming by my streams from recommended, and that's only recently that my growth has sort of picked up a little bit.
yeah,
So I'd definitely say cut down your hours in stream, focus on growing on a different platform, i.e. YouTube, Instagram Reels,
yeah,
TikTok, or whichever platform you think is best suited for you.
mm-hmm,
Focus on growing an audience on that and then redirecting them to your Twitch.
yeah.
That would be the best advice for someone as a start off or a small streamer.
Okay, okay, cool. I like that. I like that. They're all good advice. I think the thing that I did, probably, I think this is something that probably a lot of people do. To be fair, starting out, when I took my break, when I came back, I watched loads and loads and loads of YouTube videos of big streamers who were sat there giving advice on what new starter streamers should do, what things they should buy, what equipment they should have, but then
Yeah.
also, would it be stream every day for a minimum of 3 hours, or and I think the problem is that they've already made it. These people that are at the top saying, "Oh, this is how you should
Yeah.
grow," it's not right, because they've, like you just said, they've already got that platform there. Ninja moved to Mixer, and he never streamed on Mixer before. He moves over there, and for a tiny platform, he's a very big personality. But that is the point we're making, is that he moved to Mixer, and now he's sitting there on Mixer with 10,000 people watching. If you're a smaller
Yeah.
streamer, like if me or you was to go and now stream on Facebook Gaming, for example, we'd lose easily 3/4 of the people that are there, because they're
Yeah.
not already on that platform or whatever. So I like that advice, because it's not the generic advice that you get from everyone in the industry.
Yeah. It's a lot of people. I see people saying stuff like, upgrade your cam quality or upgrade
Yeah,
something or upgrade this, and it's like, because you see people who have made it with terrible audio quality or terrible
yeah,
uh, visuals, and it's like, you don't need a fantastic overlay, you don't need a fantastic
uh,
camera. You can make what they call a Logitech C920 look amazing with
Yeah,
just some
yeah,
good lighting.
yeah,
So you don't need a DSLR. I have a DSLR just because I do photography, so
yeah.
it's it helps. Um, and yeah, so it's not like about obviously if you've not got a face cam, try and get a face cam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because people are more engaging with people, and you can see like
Who you talking
emotions
to?
or
Yeah,
facial
yeah.
expressions and stuff like that. And I think I saw something once where it's like a statistic that like YouTube shows more videos that have like people's faces in the thumbnail. So I don't know if like you don't know what people's algorithms are for like TikTok or
Crazy. Yeah, yeah.
YouTube or Twitch. They could show people's streams more often if they've got a face cam. So
Mm.
I think as long as you've got like the fundamentals of like
Of a decent
gameplay,
stream.
face cam,
Yeah.
audio quality, then it shouldn't really matter to you at being at such a a start off streamer. It shouldn't matter to have like the best setup.
Yeah.
That comes with time.
Yeah.
You gotta focus on getting your audience first, and then when you can justify saying, right, I'm gonna upgrade my microphone, do so accordingly. You
Mhm.
don't need that off the start.
Yeah. We touched on that last week with Smith. We were both this icebreaker that he had was streaming investment. So we
Yeah.
were sat there talking about, when you start off streaming, you've got all these guides on the things you need, and often they come out and say, well, you need a DSLR and you need a studio microphone and you need an audio mixer,
Yeah.
and you don't need that. Like, me and you've just sat here saying that when we started out, we used our phone as a webcam. I used to plug my headphones into my phone and then record a voice memo through that and then get that
Yeah.
onto the photo. So that's how I went around getting my because I didn't have a microphone in my PC. So that's how I went around getting my voiceovers. And then for editing, there is free software out there that is genuinely free, and you're not just stealing it or downloading it or copywriting it or whatever. That's not the best, but it gets you started. And yeah, I think definitely over investing is one of the things that a lot of people do, and then a year down the line or 2 years down the line they go, I've been grinding for 2 years now, and I've got nowhere. And occasionally that happens to people. People that are successful within the first month or 2 months are very rare, because it's like we spoke about, just Twitch is very hard to be discovered on. YouTube, yeah, if you kind of learn the algorithms and learn how it works and you keep up with that consistency, you can kind of grow there. Some people say it's harder, some people say it's easier. Depends on, I guess, what content you make. But
yeah,
the whole thing is quite tough. And the last thing you want to do is overinvest on, like we said, DSLRs and great microphones, and then 2 months down the line be like trying to sell it all off again. So yeah,
because it's like no matter what you're trying to stream or no matter what content you're trying to create, we're in an era now that's very content driven.
yeah,
So like you have a lot of people creating content every day.
yeah,
So like it's gonna be really difficult to get go anyway, unless you're one of like the OG people, like the OG YouTubers
yeah.
or OG streamers. It's gonna be really difficult to start off. So you've got to make sure you're doing something that's different.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's we're kind of coming towards the end of the show, but the last two topics and things that we want to talk about is, first of all, what are your plans for content going forward, and then after that we'll touch on Cold War and just get your current opinions on the start of the game and the camo grind and all that good stuff. So yeah, first question is, what are your plans for content moving forward?
Oof. I ask myself that question quite often.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm at this position now. What do I do now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just so difficult because I mean, right now I'm trying to branch off into doing more YouTube content. You know what I'm saying? So give my community a little bit more content.
Yeah.
You can never get too much content because it's like with anything, like once you've watched it once, it's like, right, I want the next one. But
Yeah.
you've got to wait till next week.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make alongside streaming, I'm trying to do a bit of YouTube creation, YouTube videos, TikToks. Trying to think like what would be like a big thing for me to like sort of go forward to do, but I can't think of anything right now. I think probably just continue analyzing my streams.
Yeah.
What I can do better. What like watch like the moments where I make an error. How can I prevent doing that in the future? What I can do to improve the streams, the look, the feel, the vibe, and obviously like the engagement. So, I mean, in recent weeks, especially with Cold War dropping, I've noticed like new people coming by the stream, and I thought, what can I do? What can I do to interact with that person straight off the bat?
Yeah.
So, and not everyone responds, but sometimes people do. But because I don't know why you'd follow someone and then not interact.
Yeah.
But people do it. So, I like when so say someone follows now on my stream, I'd be like, let me just take someone's name from your chat. All right, so this is Hovey. So this is Hovey's just followed. They'd be like, yo, this is Hovey. Thank you so much for the follow. How you doing, man? How was your weekend been?
Yeah.
You know, are you playing Cold War? What do you think of it? Are you liking it? I know the community's very split on it. What do you think of it? And just try and analyze like where in what areas of my streams can I improve? Where can I find the opportunity to grab someone else's attention and stuff like that? So yeah, probably just continue to analyze what I'm doing and how I can better that.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, next question then, or I guess topic to discuss. What are your current thoughts and opinions on Cold War?
Honestly, I love the game. I think the game is a really, really strong game. I think obviously the few things they can fix is like glitches and stuff like that. But you've got to. I think a lot of the core community need to just ease up on Treyarch a little bit with this, because you've got to think the game was created during a pandemic, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like during a it's during a pandemic. Everyone's working from home. It's gonna be it's so difficult to make a game. It's gonna be even harder to make a game from home. So like all these tiny little glitches that people are complaining about, I'm like, bro, come on, like in the bigger picture of it, it's nothing. They can fix that in a patch or whatever. Gun balance, that's gonna be in every COD. But as for like the overall feeling of the game, at first, I wasn't a fan. But like I think I adapted a lot quicker to the game more than most people.
Yeah.
So as I unlocked things and stuff like that, and I realized like how I should be playing the game properly and how this movement works and stuff like that. Excuse me. I really fell in love with it, and I think that this game, for me anyway, is it's basically the paving stone for the next generation of Call of Duty players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This, I mean, people say that about every COD, but this COD is definitely, for me, like what Modern Warfare 2 was for us back in the day.
Yeah. 100%. I actually when this game dropped, I'm glad that I'm finally speaking to someone who shares a similar opinion of the current COD of Cold War. Because everyone else that I talk to is like, oh, it's trash. Oh, the guns aren't balanced. Oh, the maps are rubbish. And you can't, like you just said, if you look at the bigger picture, like you said, they created it when there's a pandemic. They still managed to get the game out on time, so it wasn't pushed back by a month. It wasn't pushed back. I think World of Warcraft, I don't know if you play it or even if anyone cares about it, but World of Warcraft pushed their game back by 6 months. So I had an expansion pack and they pushed it back for 6 months because of this. Treyarch still managed to meet, I think they might have pushed it back by a month or something, but a month in the grand scheme of things when you've had, 6-7 months of a pandemic is absolutely nothing. And I don't know what your thoughts are on Modern Warfare as in the last COD, but personally, even if I would play this game as it is for a full year, I'd still enjoy it more than I enjoyed the last COD at all. And for me,
I share similar views with Scump.
Yeah,
this game was terrible. Warzone saved Modern Warfare.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I think that was I think as well, because do you not think because Warzone was like free, So a lot of people who didn't, maybe fell out a little. When the game dropped, when Cold War dropped, I always said it was the best Call of Duty we've had since Black Ops 2, which I know wipes out a big amount of Call of Duty games, but that just shows you how good I feel like this game is. And I agree that I think Warzone brought back a lot of people that maybe through that period of games have fell out of love with COD or said, oh, it's just the same thing, I'm not going to get it this year. Or Warzone comes out, it's this Call of Duty Battle Royale, which a lot of people have been asking for a while since sort of Black Ops 3 had one. And it was free. There's no reason why you wouldn't download that. You know, it's a free game. Download it, try it out. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And now, obviously, we're coming into a new game with these newfound fans that love Warzone, love COD now. Oh, let's get this game. Okay, we got Cold War. And obviously, I think it's December 10th, isn't it, that Season 1 drops, and that's when we're going to have this Cold War, Modern Warfare, Warzone interaction going on. So I'm excited to see what happens there.
I'm still like sort of wondering what they're going to do for Cold War Warzone, because I've not literally seen no news on it. People have been saying that they're gonna basically combine the two, so you're gonna get Modern Warfare guns in Cold War. But I'm like, okay, so does that mean that is it just gonna be the Modern Warfare game with Cold War guns in? So is Verdansk staying the same, or are we gonna see? So in Cold War, you've got like some Dirty Bomb and stuff like that, which is like a massive map. Are they gonna use like obviously that massive map as like the base of Warzone, like how Warzone was done in Modern Warfare? You can play Superstore on multiplayer. So they've basically made the Warzone map, and then thought, right, we can make this area a map multiplayer. So I don't know how that's gonna work, but I don't necessarily sort of, what's the word, I don't really tie Warzone to the game anymore, because it's free to play. Blackout was different because you had to have the game to play it. But with Modern Warfare, you didn't actually need to buy the game.
No,
You know what I'm saying? So
just download Warzone,
so for a long time, I actually never owned Modern Warfare. I was just playing Warzone free. So you couldn't even say that Warzone saved Modern Warfare, because you didn't actually need to own Warzone to play it.
It's a separate game.
Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah.
So for me, Modern Warfare is probably the worst Call of Duty ever, because
I said that the other day, and I got a lot of hate for it because I put it even under Ghosts, which a lot of Call of Duty fans hated. But
I didn't mind Ghosts.
Yeah, I said that. I didn't mind Ghosts that much at all. The time to kill on it wasn't amazing, but the game itself, the maps, the guns, it was a good game.
The way I see it is like, it's like, so imagine, right, going off Cold War. So people saying about how this game's trash, like Cold War's trash.
Yeah.
And like, I couldn't disagree more. It's an amazing game. People always say this, right? And it's like, okay, so you think that this is trash, but you think that Modern Warfare was amazing. Modern Warfare 2 was amazing. And it's like, bro, you couldn't have updates in that game for the whole time that game was out. And even to this day, you can noob tube a whole team from across the map on Afghan, on S&D. You can win the round with one noob tube from across the map.
Yeah.
Imagine if that functionality, if that little, like, it's not really a glitch, but that exploit was in a modern day game, there would be so much uproar. But like, they don't. It's just like, you know what I'm saying. Imagine
like that's
that issue was in these games, people would be like slating them.
I feel like that's like the modern gamer, hasn't experienced the things that we've probably experienced with the Call of Duty franchise. I remember playing S&D maps on high rise, where someone with an intervention would snipe
on a map, by the way.
Yeah, class map. However, on S&D, if all your team spawned the one side, someone with an intervention could snipe your whole team through a window. They literally make 5 steps forward, boom, your whole team's dead, one snipe. And, like you just said, the modern gamer who's now playing Call of Duty wants, weapons balanced and wants to, doesn't want to be shot across.
It's like, you speak about weapon balances. You've not experienced a new tube from across the map on Afghan, and your whole team's just wiped out. You've not experienced that. You talk about weapon balancing.
Yeah.
of course, it's going to be so difficult to get weapons balance, but
Yeah.
so everyone's happy. But like,
That's
I
why
just
it
think at
makes
the
me
end of the
laugh.
day,
We've
you've just got to put up with it.
You know, with people that are like, oh, they need to remaster Modern Warfare 2, they need to remaster Modern Warfare 2. If that got remastered and brought out now, no one ever would say, oh yeah, Modern Warfare 2 was the best game ever made.
Yeah,
it was the best game for its time. But if you did that now, like you've just said and we've just touched on, getting YouTubed across the map, getting your whole squad RPG'd, you know, how OP the intervention was. No one that plays that game now remastered, if you ask them now to rank their top cards, right, Modern Warfare 2 will be up there. If you remastered it and then they played it now, Modern Warfare 2 will be at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, it's like to put it into terms of like athletes and stuff like that who play for teams. If they say like once, so for example, I don't know if you watch football, but like Gareth Bale, who plays for Tottenham, he left Tottenham as a legend and then went to Real Madrid, and he's come back to Tottenham. So this could either damage his legacy as a Tottenham player, or increase it even more. And that's why you never say, no, don't go back to where you came from.
Yeah.
Because imagine if they remastered Modern Warfare 2, like you said, people could just be like, oh, this game's shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, or if they take things out to prevent getting them comments like the noob tubes, they'd be like, oh, it's not the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're never gonna win.
You're never gonna
especially
win.
with the COD community, because you know what COD community is like. You're just never gonna win.
Rough.
It's very rough.
Well, you know what, mate? I appreciate your time today. That is, guys, the end of the show. So I hope that we've been able to get some of Soob's story out and over to you guys. We've obviously had all the help, the tips, the advice. I've answered and gone through as many questions as I possibly could find in the chat. And if I have missed anyone, then I am very sorry, because I've done my best with keeping up with your community's been in the stream today, and the chat has been popping. So like, I asked people for a message and I was like, yeah, where's that message gone? Like, I'm scrolling
really?
again.
I've not had the chat up. I've been like, I've got
your community's been killing it today.
Like, influence anything.
Your community's been killing it today. So I appreciate all of you guys being here. The show, I actually messed up and only realised about 20 minutes ago. Usually I hit record as well as live, and I forgot to hit record, so I'm gonna have to rip. So I'm gonna have to try and pull like an hour-long video out of stream highlights. So I don't know how well that's gonna go, but hopefully it will be live tomorrow on YouTube at 6:30, guys. So if anyone's tuned in late, missed the start of it, you will be able to catch up on the show tomorrow. But yeah, Matt, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, man, it was fun. It was my first ever podcast, so it's my debut on a podcast. So I really enjoyed it. It's
we got the Soob exclusive then. Let's go.
yeah. Literally, front page news, first ever interview.
Right, I wanna just say something, bro. Your hoodie looks fresh. If anyone in the chat wanted to copy, where would they go?
Nowhere at the moment. This is
it
not
sold
released.
out? Oh, is it not released? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this one's not released. We released the other version, like the OG version.
Okay.
So I originally made some merch just for myself, for like streaming and YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Never published it. People wanted it, so we made a store, soobstore.com, and we've got the signature tee and the signature hoodie on there. And I don't know what we're gonna do in the future. I don't know if we're gonna do like drops and stuff like that. You know, like a certain amount of inventory and that sort of stuff. But this one should be coming out in like, I don't know, in the near future. But if it's gonna be a drop or a consistent thing, who knows?
Okay, yeah, I like that. Right, guys, Jess has just plugged the store, so if any of you go, make sure you all go check it out. Cop whatever you can off the website and support Soob, man. Because honestly, like, I look at a lot of streamer merch and a lot of YouTuber merch, and a lot of it's like your generic stuff that you just see. Whereas like you're doing it the right way. Like your merch is something that, like, if you was in like flannels or like a shop or something, like a designer shop, you see that and you go, yeah, that's fire. Like
You've got to make it a brand, bro. You know, it's got to be like fashionable. You can't just. I hate seeing people's merch where it's just like a little logo here on like on your left.
Yeah.
It's just like got all this to work with. You've used this little tiny bit.
Yeah.
Trying to just do things a little bit different.
It's good. It's good. Right, mate. I appreciate it. Guys that are in the chat, I'm going to go offline now. I'll be back in about half an hour and we'll be continuing my camo grind live. So hopefully by the end of today, I'll have diamond ARs. So that'll be that has been a grind, man. Like, if anyone else is in the chat, right, has used the FR post-patch, I don't want to get negative, but I know we were just talking about weapon balancing, but that thing has been... It was.
I've not touched it yet, man. I've not touched it.
Mate, honestly, I wish you the best of luck when you get to it, because post-patch, the thing was...
if it's as bad as the Milano, then it's going to be rough.
I haven't used SMGs, so when I got the game, I literally my usual plan is always going for camos no matter what, and I usually get my ARs done first, because that's obviously probably one of the better weapon categories, but also from when I used to play comp, I was always an AR player, so I'll just get through assault rifles first. So I haven't touched SMGs or anything else. I know a few of my other mates, they started... I couldn't have done what they did, so they started on RPGs and launchers.
Yeah, I'm doing the same.
Oh, I couldn't do it, man. Like, I get that once you get it done, that's the worst it'll ever be.
All I'm gonna say is good luck.
Wow.
The Sigma 2 or whatever it's called, the Sigma. Good luck, bro. Good luck.
I let my my community pick for me, that they've picked launchers as my next weapon class to do. So, I mean, there's still a vote going on. I haven't finished ARs yet, so if anyone in Discord wants to help a brother out and go and vote for like pistols or something, then go and do that. But yeah, at the moment there's a fair few votes for launchers, so I can see myself losing my head a few times with them. But that'd be good. I appreciate your time there today, mate, and have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too, man. I appreciate you getting me on.